So my title is Creating Fertile Spaces for Education, Educator Empowerment, Flip Professional Development. So a couple of things about the title. Creating fertile spaces is my mantra. And whenever I train on anything, whether it's my culturally responsive stuff or my tech stuff, it's all the same. You're trying to create fertile spaces. I think we focus as educators too much on meeting standards, following a curriculum, but covering it and delivering instruction. Our biggest job is to create fertile spaces in our professional development and in our direct service teaching. So what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, you know Bloom's taxonomy. The top is to create. And we want the students to get to the top and create, right? Projects or whatever they're going to create, but we need to be creators too. All right. So you need to start thinking of yourself as creating. Okay. And then spaces is important for us now because we know that our spaces can include a physical classroom, it can include the entire community and the neighborhood of the students, or it can be entirely in cyberspace. So we have many options for spaces. But what I really want to focus on today is this word fertile. When you think of fertile, what do you think of? This you can put in the chat. What do you associate with the word fertile? Put anything, first thing you think of, one word, one word. What do you think of for fertile? Put the words, one word. This is English, by the way. Fertile. Other ideas? What's a fertile space? Okay, these are really interesting. A lot of them are abstract, okay? Think about a plant, okay? Think about a plant. So if the soil is fertile, right, it helps things grow, right? So what we want to do is provide enrichment. We want to provide sunshine, right? We want to provide a soil that is designed for growth. So what does that mean? We're creating conditions for learning, and then the learning will be fertile. So I'm going to give you 3 words to describe what fertile spaces are like online, because that's my work today. All right, so they have to be, I'm putting this in myself so you have it. All right, that's it. So everything that you do must have those 3 characteristics: structured, interactive, and multimodal. And SOFLA does that in all 8 steps. All right. The next point I need to make is flipped professional development. Have any of you ever participated in a flipped professional development? You could just put yes in the chat if you have. Has anyone done that? Had a flipped for PD? It's not that common. Is the point I'm making is most of you haven't. Okay. I believe that unless you flip professional development, your educators come in a passive mode. They come in and they sit down and they go, okay, give me my professional development. But I don't do it that way. I give them something ahead of time. I usually record a little video of myself ahead of time that they have to watch. I might send them an article, or in your case, I asked you to grab a sticky in Miro. So I don't know how many of you saw the 3-minute promo video, but I gave you the pre-work, which is the first step. All right. Okay, now we go to the next slide. So this slide is just a summary of what I sent originally for this presentation. All right. And it's basically what I just said. All right. This is going to be a demonstration of SOFLA. You're actually going to be going through it. Okay. And there's one thing there I haven't mentioned. Everything else I've mentioned, but I didn't mention SHAC. SHAC comes from my very dear, wonderful friend, Khalid Fethi, who lives in Barkan in Morocco. And he came up with this wonderful peer feedback protocol that we won't really have time to do today, but I encourage you to use it with your students, and we can learn more about that at another time. Okay, so now we do step one. We're just going to go through the steps. Are you ready? Now, everybody is not going to do it because there are, how many? 80 people here. We can't handle 80, but I need at least 15 to actually do each task. You don't have to do each one, but as long as I get a bunch of people doing each one, you'll get the hang of it. So the first task is the pre-work. So we have to pretend that you came here and you've already done it. All right. So you don't do the pre-work when you're meeting with people like I'm meeting with you now. All right. So we have to assume and say that you did this ahead. So what is your task? You're going to go to Miro and you can use the QR code to get there, but I will also give you a link to Miro. And I'm also going to give you a link to I'm going to also give you a link to 2 locations. All right. That's a link. Fliplearning.org is for learning about flip learning. And the other is the Miro board. Okay, so now I'm going to go into Miro with you. Okay. There you are. Okay. All right.
So everyone in the chat box, there is a link. Could you please click on it?
Okay. So does everyone now see the Miro board? So what you're going to do is you're going to get a sticky note, and you can see where the sticky is over there on the left. Sticky note. Get a sticky note. Follow the directions because we're going to do this in a certain way. And then if you want to see it larger, you go down here to the plus or minus. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So if you go down to the bottom right, you want to see it bigger, you can see it bigger. All right, 6 words, remember. 6 words. Pick a sticky and put it up on the board. Okay? Something that resonates with you about education that you want to share with this group. You'll see I did flipping instruction creates fertile spaces. That was mine. Okay? So let's get a few more stickies up. If you've never
Dr.
used
Helen,
Miro, if you've never
yeah,
used Miro, I encourage you to do it.
Dr. Helen, are you sharing the screen?
Miro is a lot of fun, you know.
Oh, yeah,
You
I know, I know.
are you
People are
there?
asking whether you're sharing the screen or not. Yeah, we're all there. So I just want to tell the people that yeah, they have to click on the sticky note and then do another click on the screen to place it.
Yeah, yeah, we can look at it. So you write inside the sticky. You click on the sticky and then you write on it. You get a sticky and then you write. Keep going. Let's get some more ideas. Let's get some good ideas here. No, you can't do this on the phone. If you're doing it on the phone, you won't be doing any of these. All right. Let's get some more. So the nice thing about Miro is it's an infinite board. You can have sections. So you can see I've got this section here, and then I have another section for when you come out of your breakouts. And then I have a reflection at the end. It's all set up ahead. All right, grammar should be taught in context. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hooray! That's what I want to see. Okay, understanding student psychology makes learning effective. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Okay. All right. Giving a certain number of words for this for people really structures it for them. It helps them think because they have to be concise and they have to get their point across without going on and on and on. So I like to do that kind of activity. All right. I don't want to spend any more time on this, but just to tell you that theoretically, they would have done the Miro board before they come to see me. And the question I asked was very general. You could do a more specific question based on your professional development plans, but you always want to have them come in. Then they come in and they say, oh, look at the Miro board. Look what this put. Look what that person put. Okay, so now I'm going to take you, keep working on the board. Keep working on the board. And I'm going to take you back to the PowerPoint. We're going to go back and forth. All right, so now that's done. Now they come to class. That was before class. So now they come to class to sign in. When they sign in, then they put something on the board by either putting it there on their own or commenting on someone else. Okay. And you can't make it a question that everyone put the same answer. You have to put a question, everyone's going to come up with something different. So for our purposes, I'm going to ask you to do an emoji or a brief comment, on the stickies that people put up. Okay. Now, if you look in Miro, I'm going to go back to Miro. I'm going to go back and forth. Okay. So if you look in Miro, over here are stickies. Stickies. Okay. I mean, not stickies, emojis. And then under the emojis are comments. And you can put a comment. So go over to somebody's that you like. Go over to someone that wrote something that resonates with you and leave them next to them, leave them a comment or an emoji. Okay. So just read the board, read what other people put. And a nice thing about this activity is it forces everyone to see what everybody else is thinking, right? So you always want to have everything transparent and collaborative. So put an emoji next to something like, a smiley face if you like what they said. Or you can put a comment, and they're over on the left, emojis and stickers and comments. So this is the sign-in activity, okay? And now when I usually do it, I ask people to write their name, but you don't have to do your name because this is a conference, okay? But in the sign-in activity, normally they write their name, but you give them some reason to look at other people, what other people put, okay? That way we're all on the same page about what people think. So thank you for those of you that have put a little something next to people's comments. I'm looking for my own. I don't see it right now. Somewhere. It's somewhere. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're getting the idea. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Very nice. I don't know where mine went. Disappeared. Okay. It's okay. All right. So now we're going to back to the PowerPoint. There's bells and whistles here, so bear with me. All right. So that's the sign-in. And the sign-in is not you start class. When they come into class, they should see the directions for the sign-in and follow them because they need ownership. All right. And the next step, third step, is what I call whole group application. This is the time when it's very dangerous because as a teacher, you want to teach them, but you've already done the teaching in the video or the article they read or whatever they did. That was the teaching. Now you're having them apply what they learned. So in our case, take a look at what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to, among you, discuss and move the idea stickies to organize them in a meaningful way. Form categories, larger concepts. You're essentially making a graphic organizer of what everybody put on Miro. Okay, so look at all the ideas and then group them according to what they're addressing about education and see if you can make an organizer. So this is collaborative, so you can all work together to do this. And as I said, there are 80 people here, so it's not everybody isn't going to be moving these things around, but you can also use the chat if you want. Yeah, it's sort of like Jamboard, but it's 10 times better. Jamboard's going out of business, so you have to find an alternative. There won't be any Jamboard, by the way, in case anyone didn't know that. Okay. All right. So you're going to move them around and see where they fit. All right. Some of them need to be expanded and zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Okay. So see if you can put them in categories. All right, we need to move. Some people put things that are blocking. Okay. So understanding students' psychology probably wouldn't be grouped with grammar to be taught in context. That's kind of doesn't go together. So you think to yourself, which ones go together? You grab it and move it. Grab the sticky and move it around where you think they go together. The ideas. Where do the ideas go together? Oh, I finally found mine. It's too small now because some of these others are too big. Yeah, it's interesting the size because if I blow it up, then some of these are really big. Let me get these down. I wasn't thinking about size when I did this. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll make mine a little bigger. Oh, I've locked mine. Okay. You can't move mine because I locked it. Or maybe I'll unlock it just for you guys. Okay. Okay, I unlocked it. You can move it now. You can move mine around now if you want. Move it around. See what I'm doing? I'm moving the sticky around. All right. So the idea behind this is that you would come up with they have to read and understand all these concepts in order to create a graphic organizer. And I'm doing this with you on basic principles of education. But when you do your PD, it's going to be narrower. It's going to be in your area of whatever you're doing with those educators. So things that go together should be grouped together. It looks like we don't have too many people who made stickies. Okay. Is this difficult for you? Okay, it could be. We're going to bring these things over here because we're over here now. Okay. All right. So the idea is they would make a graphic organizer. All right. Collaborative learning environment, not just how and what we teach, why we teach certain topics, flip learning. Okay, let's put flip. I'm trying to help you here. So let's put flip learning over near collaborative. All right. What else goes together? Certain topics. Grammar should be taught in context doesn't seem to be linked to anyone. Is that all we have or am I missing? Oh, here's one over here. Understanding student psychology. Where do you think that goes? All right. So because this is a conference and I have limited time, I want to make sure that you get the idea of this step. The idea of this step. Oh, if you're on your phone, oh Lord, you can't be on your phone and do my stuff. Okay. Understanding student psychology is going to be maybe over here. Maybe you'll have socio-emotional would be a category. Maybe another one would be interactive learning would be a category. And maybe another one would be language focus, comments about language focus. All right. I hope everyone kind of gets the idea. So students work collaboratively. And if you've never used Miro before, it can be a little overwhelming, but the thing to remember is you can make it larger or smaller, and you can adjust anything on there, and you can add emojis, and you can add comments. Okay, so now keep working, by the way. Keep working. You don't need to stop because we need the Miro board. So if you're just now ready to post your 6 words, you can still post your sticky and you can still move the stickies around. Okay, but we're going to go on to the next step. Now, the next step is breakouts. So after the after your teachers, your educators have created collaboratively, if you're doing it in person, you can do it on a big, I just did one with an entire wall was a whiteboard, and we were able to work with that. Or you can do an electronic board if you're teaching online. So the next thing is they're ready to go off on their own. So you ask them to pick a concept that they want to design an activity for to demonstrate that concept. And you send them to breakout rooms. Now, I had asked if we're allowed to do that because what I wanted to do was create breakout rooms. Here we go, breakout rooms. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to let participants share rooms, and we're going to create rooms. I don't know about 17 rooms, but I'm going to just make 10 rooms. Okay, so I'm creating the rooms, and I'm going to name the rooms grammar, and then flipped. I just want to give you an idea of what this looks like. I'm going to do socio-emotional. I'm creating the room, so you could be able to go to one of these rooms. And the other is topics of interest for students. What else is up there? Student psychology. And you're going to design an activity for your professional development to help teachers get to an understanding of what it is you're talking about. Okay, collaborative environment. All right, what else? What did I miss here? Grammar, topics. What else? I'm looking around for more stickies. All right, well, we can just have more than one room for each. Okay. All right. So for now, you're confused. I haven't set up the rooms yet. I'm working on the rooms. Okay. So I'm going to open the rooms, and you can choose a room. So you choose your own room, and you go by the name of the room. Okay. Do you all see the rooms now? The choices? Do you see the rooms?
So everyone, you have to scroll down. You have to scroll down to find
All
the
the way
rooms
down,
below.
go all the way down, and you'll see join. So I created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them with names, and the other 4 are wide open. You just come up with an activity. You can look at the stickies yourselves. Just go into a
Yeah.
room, and the task is to design. You're going to design an activity, a PD activity that illustrates or helps teachers understand that concept. All right? I'm going to give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Pick a room, the one that interests you. Pick a room and go. Just click join. Everybody click join. It's a little blue. If you've never done breakouts in Zoom, now you will. You click join and you'll go in a room and you'll see other people and you can say, oh, this room is socio-emotional. What's a good activity to help teachers understand the importance of socio-emotional learning? Something like that, okay? So just join. And I'll bring you back in 5 minutes. What you have to do is you have to put the activity on the Miro board. Okay? There they go. There you go. Okay. Now I'm going to send a broadcast message. Okay, there we go. All right. So 5 minutes and then we'll come back. I'll bring them back. Everyone went to grammar. Okay. Okay. All right. I see some of you have old versions. They have old versions of Zoom, and that means they can't select. You have to have an up-to-date Zoom in order to do it. That's what's preventing this. So I have to put them in. They're not going to get a choice. I hope they're not all on their phones. That's the problem.
Yeah, I think most of them are using the phones.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what hinders this.
yeah, that kind of doesn't work with my style of interacting. It's okay. They'll
Oh,
still get the idea. It's all right. I
yeah,
had no idea they'd be on their phone. I don't know. I guess I don't do conferences on my phone. It's okay.
it's
Live and
fine.
learn. I'm not upset at all. They'll learn those 8 steps. Okay, it's fine. I put them all in a room. Okay, everyone's in a room now. Okay. So some of them came just to listen to lectures, and I don't do that. Okay. All right. Post your PD activity. All right, let's go back and see what the Miro board looks like. People are putting grammar over here. You need an activity. We're not using the stickies now over the same stickies. You're getting a new sticky and you're going to put it in the share out area. I'm just moving these all over, get them out of the way. Think of a PD activity. You're all interested in PD. You just heard Michelle and Eloise. They did a great job talking about the PD. How would you follow? What activity might you do to help people understand about following through after training? What would you do to encourage them? Not something. Okay. All right. They can't hear me, obviously. Okay. There we go. The auction activity. Okay. I'm just looking at the Miro board. Okay, the grammar one. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, we're going to close the rooms in 1 minute. Okay. All right. I'm trying to close the rooms and it won't let me. Okay. Welcome back. So I wanted you to get the feeling of what this is. When you go into a breakout room, let me go back to my PowerPoint. Okay. When you go into a breakout room, the students need to be given a task, very structured task, and they have to be accountable. So you have to make sure that there's something they put up on the Miro board or wherever it is you're using, so they share it. And there's a space that you make for sharing. And when they share, then what you do is you go to the step number 5 of SOFLA, sorry, 5, which is called share out. So each group came up with an activity. Somebody put, if you're looking at the Miro, someone put a Hawaiian skirt on auction, okay? They would explain their activity. They would say, here's what we mean by Hawaiian skirt and auction, okay? And that's where Shaq comes in right here, is peer feedback on what people did in their breakouts when they come back to share out, all right? You know how usually when people share, no one listens to anyone else? But if you use Khaled Fethi's share feedback model, share, help, ask, and comment, then you know that everybody is going to get some feedback on their breakout, okay? So now I'm going to go to the next step. And the next step is the most important step, except for the pre-work, okay? So preview and discovery, that's a chance to get them motivated and ready to do the assignment that you're going to give them. So the first 5 steps are about one lesson, right? One lesson. The next is looking forward to the next lesson. So it's preview. So I'm going to show you our preview is going to be the video I made of SOFLA. It's a very short video. You're going to watch the video. We're all going to watch it together. And what you're going to do is think about which step of SOFLA do you think is the hardest to implement? Which step of SOFLA is the hardest to implement?
Hello, I'm Helaine Marshall, and I'm here to tell you about SOFLA. This is SOFLA. It's the synchronous online flipped learning approach, and it has 8 steps. We're going to look at each step very quickly. These are the 8 steps in the cycle. Here they are, and we're going to look at each one. Let's begin with number 1, the pre-work. Okay, the pre-work can be video lessons or shared readings. What you're doing is giving explicit instruction that you're providing asynchronously. 3 characteristics that this instruction should have: structured, interactive, and multimodal. You target questions that are embedded into the video or into the reading, and make sure that you have interaction and activities along the way at points so that students do not lose focus. Then you're going to download the data. Whatever you get from the students will help inform your instruction so that you can clarify misconceptions later, as we will see when we get to the other steps. We now go to step 2, which is the sign-in. Now we're in class. So the synchronous class starts with a sign-in, and this can be any type of prompt that can relate back to the video or back to the reading, back to the pre-work. Whatever it was they were supposed to learn, this is to find out if they got it. But your question has to be something that will have multiple responses from students, not a single response. Everybody's going to have something different. I also put an example there from the affective domain because every now and then that's more important. So it doesn't always have to be about the pre-work. When they sign in, they sign their name. This is a way to take attendance. This is a way to get them there on time. This is also a kickoff that begins with students, not with the teacher. Step 3 is whole group. You remember I mentioned clarifying. This is a chance to clarify misconceptions from the pre-work. This is teacher-led but not teacher-centered, so you're guiding from the side, and what you're doing is moving deeper into the content or clarifying the content, and the students collaboratively create a product, create something that they are going to work on together with the teacher correcting, guiding, and nudging. They can be using a whiteboard, they can be talking, but it's the whole class participating, not just a few people. Then we move on to the breakouts. Now they're ready to go out on their own. So you put them into groups. This is similar to in-class instruction, and it depends on how you want to group them, what it is they're doing, but make sure that they produce a product and that they're accountable, because otherwise they can use their time not so wisely, and we want them to stay on task. Then they come out of the breakouts and they're going to share. So there are different ways to share. If they all did the same activity, just have maybe one group share. If they all did different activities, you need more time for the share out, and each group needs to share what they did. They're pieces of a puzzle. What I use for the share out is that everyone else who was listening or watching during the sharing is now going to be using the SHAC technique, share, help, ask, and comment, for the peer feedback piece. Then we go on to step 6. The lesson is essentially completed at this time. There are 3 more steps, but the 3 final steps focus on either looking forward or looking back. But the lesson now has taken its course. So, preview and discovery. This step, very important, because it ensures they're going to do the pre-work. What do? Well, you take a look at the textbook or take a look at a piece of the video. You get them interested, you get them involved. You might pose a problem that they're going to have to address that you know they're not quite ready to, but it piques their curiosity. You can pre-teach a concept or a term, get them dipping toes in the water to the next assignment. Anything that gives them motivation or curiosity is what you're going to do in step 6. You decide what you think is most compelling. You can also informally assess where they are with their prior learning on what's coming up next in your class. Then you give the explicit instructions. This is pretty much the same as you would in an in-person class, except that you have to be even more explicit online. And you map it out in the synchronous session. You also post it in your LMS, wherever you keep your assignments. You also send out an announcement and maybe even a reminder just the day before. That's the assignment instructions, step 7, and finally we come to step 8, which is a reflection. They're reflecting with their name on whatever sticks with them from that class. So they're going back now to take a look at what they did that day in class, the whole thing, the whole lesson, and they pick one takeaway, all right? That's the last step. That's it. Thank you, and we are done.
Going from survival mode my whole life to having enough money to take my kids on vacation. I had no idea how to run a business. I didn't know what quotes were. I didn't know anything.
Sorry. Okay. So we just did the preview and discovery. Okay. What I did with you was show you a very short SOFLA video to give you an idea of SOFLA. So put in the chat, which step is the hardest step? Everybody put in a step they think is the hardest step. You just heard me do all 8 steps. Which step is the hardest? Put it in there. What do you think is the hardest for you to implement of the 8 steps of SOFLA? So write the name of the step. You think step 6 is hard. It is, yeah. You have to decide what you want to preview with them. But you know, the reason 6 is important is there's a flaw in flipped learning, because a lot of students don't do, or educators don't do the flipped piece. They just come to your session. But this helps get them do the next session, because you're going to give them ideas that they want to learn more. Okay, now I'm going to go to the next step. All right, assignment instructions. This is your assignment. Here's what you have to do. So the assignment instructions, which is step 7, here you go. I'm going to give you your assignment. Here it is. Just a minute. I'm going to get it now. You're either going to watch a video or you're going to read an article. So you either read the article or you watch the video. It's not the same video. It's a longer video. I just showed you the quick one. There's a longer video. Watch the longer video, read an article. And that's number 1, number 2. And what's the third one? The third one is what Michelle and Eloise were talking about. You're going to try it out. You're going to actually do it, implement it. You're going to do SOFLA. Try it. try doing SOFLA. That's my assignment for you, okay? And the last step is reflection. So reflection is to go to the Miro board and you're going to take a sticky and write one thing from my session that you're going to take with you. One thing about SOFLA from this PD experience. So here's your last chance to use Miro. So go to the Miro board, grab a sticky, find the reflection area. There's a place where you can reflect, and you just take a sticky and post your reflection. If you can't find the place, just post it anywhere. Okay? So post your takeaway from this session, and then that's it. I have one more slide, but we went through the whole model. All right, so now you should have a good idea. You should have a good idea of what's happening. Post your reflection. What are you taking away from today? I'm completely lost my place here. All right, wait a second. Ah, there it is. Okay, reflection area. Okay. The 8 steps of SOFLA is what you take away. Okay. Now, if anyone puts great session, learned a lot, I erase it because your reflection has to be specific. It has to be specific. So if they just say, I learned a lot today, you don't let them do that. They have to tell you what specifically they're taking with them. So grab a sticky. What are you taking with you from my session? Besides the fact that using a phone doesn't work when you're working with Dr. Marshall. Okay, now I'm going to give you my final slide and then I'm out of here. All right, so synchronous online flip learning approach. Contact me. That's my email, and I'm going to give you my email and my website. I'm also going to give you, all right, so this gives you a document. See where it says links document? You go to that document, all the resources on SOFLA are there, and I keep it updated. So you can go to that document and you'll have everything you need about SOFLA, all the rubrics and checklists and everything. You can also email me and go to my website. And I am done. So thank you very much. I hope you learned SOFLA a little bit by getting your hands dirty trying to do it. Okay. Thank you. And I'm sorry if
thanks a lot, Dr. Helaine.
participate. If there are people who couldn't participate, I apologize for that. Okay.